Good morning, friends. Welcome back to my channel. I guess good morning, good night, good afternoon, good whatever time it is. But for me, it is 5:45 in the morning, which is actually kind of late for me. But I filmed a video last night. It is not up on my channel yet. I believe by the time this video is up, that one should already be up. It's basically the first book haul of 2024. And I realized that on my book bingo from hell, I put that I want to read 70% of the books that I haul in 2024. Well, I'm not going to ruin it for you, but I will link it. Just know that I am nowhere near 70%. So, in this video, I usually don't start reading vlogs on a Wednesday, so it feels weird. But in this video, I'm going to finish The Long Game by Elena Armas. I'm about halfway done with this book already. I've been listening to it on audiobook, so I'm going to listen to some more as I finish getting ready for work, as I make lunch and breakfast and coffee and all that good stuff. And then I also have a bunch of other books that I might be reading in this reading vlog. My goal is to read at least 5 of the books that I have acquired in 2024 so far, but I guess we will see, because I'm basically gonna film from Wednesday to Wednesday, so it's gonna be a week-long reading vlog. And let's just start with The Long Game by Elena Armas. Like I said, I'm about halfway, not quite halfway. But you follow this woman, Adeline is her name, who at the very beginning of the story gets fired from her job by her dad, and he basically sends her to this small town, so it's going to be a small town romance, to help this soccer team get back into the groove of things, because nobody thinks that this small town is on the map, but she wants to prove to her dad and to her job that she can do something. So she's trying to put them on the map again, and then she meets this grumpy guy, and they really hate each other at first, so I'm sure he's gonna be the love interest. I'm very bored so far, but I'm gonna listen to some of this. I will probably update you either at work or after work. Ignore the background noise if you can hear that. It's been a long day. It is Valentine's Day. It was really sweet though. My husband actually got me coffee and flowers and came to work while during my planning time, so I didn't have kids, and he got me these beautiful flowers with a vase. I need to put more water in there. And he got me a coffee. So I got to see him. He could only stay for a few minutes. Then we had a second grade party, and if y'all don't know, if you are not a teacher, you will never know Valentine's Day as an elementary teacher, then bless your soul. No, Valentine's Day is one of my favorite days as a teacher, but it's also one of the most chaotic days as a teacher. So I lied to you earlier by accident. I thought that I had read half of The Long Game by Elena Armas, but I had only read 100 pages. And like I said, I wasn't really loving it. This is 185 pages in, which is now about halfway into The Long Game. And I'm actually really enjoying it. So it's hate to love, but kind of like low hate. I don't think that he ever, Cameron, I don't think he ever hated Adeline, but Adeline is kind of a spoiled, pampered princess, and I don't think that she really liked him. I think that he was like too rugged and yeah, for her. But I think that it's gonna be like a slow burn romance because they're not even together yet. They are slowly becoming friends, but ever since like page 1, he called her darling, and I didn't like that at the beginning, but now I've really gotten used to it, and I really do think that they're cute together. So this one might be the first Elena Armas book that I like. I'll update you when I finish this book tomorrow, question mark. But like I said, this is just gonna be like a chill reading vlog for a week where I try to read as many of the books that I hauled recently because I've only read a third of them and I need to read 70%. I'm at like 33%. Okay, we got this, we can do it. Good morning. So I finished The Long Game last night like I thought I would. This was actually really addictive. So it was a slow start for me. I think the first like about 100 pages I was just kind of dipping my toes in and I was like, I'm not 100% sure about it. But once it started picking up at the, about 100 pages in, I really did enjoy this. So it's just like this fun romance. I'm pretty sure that he fell for her before she fell for him. And I just really enjoyed this because like going into this, he thought that she was snooty and stuck up and spoiled, which like she was, but she learned a lot about hard work and she learned a lot about her family, which kind of comes in at the later portion of the book. So I'm not going to say anything else because spoilers. But I did have a lot of fun with this one. So I'm going to give it like a 3.5 stars. 3.5 or 4 star. I might just round up to 4 stars. But it was a lot of fun. I might have to see if there's any other Elena Armas books. Or like if she comes out with any more, I might have to give her another shot. Because I read The Spanish Love Deception when that first came out. And I didn't love it. So then I kind of wrote this author off. But this one sounded really good and it was really good. I'm surprised. But I found that I really love sporty romances. And this one is kind of like a soccer romance. So book 1 of however many we get done this week finished. I'm hoping to get my percentage up to closer to 70%. So I'm at 36% of the new books that I've bought. I have read. I don't know what book I'm going to be reading next. I thought about the picture of Dorian Gray, but I don't know. I guess we'll see. I'm gonna go see who those dogs are. I'm sorry if you can hear that, but yay, book one done. It is the next day. I forgot both my cameras, my headphones, like all my electronics at school. So here we are in my classroom. But I did finish The Other Family by Wendy Corsi Staub. What can I say about this? So, in this, you follow the Howell family. Yeah, you follow the Howell family, which consists of Nora, the mom, Stacy, the daughter, and Piper, the daughter, and the husband. I don't remember his name. He doesn't have a very big part in this, though. And you follow them as they moved from California to Brooklyn, and they're just trying to get their life together, but it's kind of a drama at the same time because you follow a stalker. The stalker chapters were my favorite. You also get a name for the stalker from the very beginning, so you know who the stalker is, but do you know who he is or she? I don't know. This was okay. It was a very addictive psychological drama. I question if it's a thriller, though. I would say it's more like a suspense novel. And that's fine. I just thought it was really predictable. So once we got to a certain part, maybe part 2 or part 3, I'm not entirely sure, because there are 5 parts. I definitely could see where it was going, and I did guess the ending, which is fine. This was it was just a fun thriller. It was a good time. I think I'm gonna give it 3 stars, maybe 3.5 stars. I'm not entirely sure, but then I realized that on my book haul, I think I said that I had 36 books. So my goal is to read 70% of the books that I haul. This makes 14 out of 37, which I still think is like 36%. But I don't know. At the end of this reading vlog, we'll do a recap of all the books that I read for this reading vlog. And I'll count up how many of the books that I have hauled in 2024. How many I've hauled and how many I've read. But I'm pretty sure I've hauled 37. Because, like I said, this one has 2 stories in it. I've hauled 37. And I've read, I think that's number 14. So this weekend, so today is Friday. I will read some more tonight. I don't usually read a whole lot at work, but I am an hour early before my contract starts. So technically, anything I do right now is fine. Like, I might read for an hour just to knock something out. Or maybe I'll find an audiobook of one of these, and during planning time, I can listen to the audiobook, you know? Just because I'm here doesn't... I'm actually already prepared for the day. What? So at home... Okay, first, I have a secret mystery reader, so you could sign up on the district website to have someone from African American Studies come to your classroom and do a read aloud. So I scheduled one for yesterday and today because I have 2 different groups of children. I teach all the 2nd graders in my school, ELA and social studies. Next year, I think that's going to change to where I'm, like a 2nd grade teacher, but I teach all the subjects. I don't know if that makes sense, or if anyone does differentiation, and I that word is hard for me to say, so don't come at me. But I teach ELA and social studies, and my partner teaches math and science. So usually, if I plan an event, I either have to plan it for 2 days and just have group A do it, then the people will come back and group B will do it. Sometimes we do it as a whole community, because it's all the same 2nd graders. So sometimes we'll do an event together as a whole, but a lot of times for different events, the cap size is 20 or 22. So we have to split it into 2 groups. If we split into 2 groups, then sometimes we'll switch, and then they'll do the same event a second time. I hope that makes sense. Or the reader came yesterday and then they're going to come back today. Just different things like that. But I'm going to be... I don't know what I'm going to be reading yet. It also depends on an audiobook. If I do an audiobook, I might just sit down for an hour. I feel like I could knock most of this out in an hour because it's short. And this is What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. It's a reimagining of an Edgar Allan Poe short story. Or I brought The Call of the Wild and White Fang by Jack London. Like I said, these are both classic dog stories. I'm scared that I'm going to be sad if I read one or both of these. But considering that this is 2 books, that's not, I feel like each book has to be fairly short. So I will update you when I've actually read something or done something. I decided to listen to The Call of the Wild by Jack London. And I remember why I DNF'd it many years ago. It's because of the dog fight. There's a dog fight, and now I'm sad, and I just want to cry, and like he was talking about being a hungry dog but also trying to be civilized, so he used to eat his food real slow, but then the other huskies like would gobble up all of his food so he would go hungry, and he was describing how his tummy was growling and how hungry he was. This one might be a new favorite. And I'm only like 3 chapters in, so I don't know. I'll double check, but I'm sad now. Okay, I am about 1 hour away from the end of The Call of the Wild by Jack London, which will mean once I finish it after the gym tonight, I'm gonna go to the gym, like, hello gym outfit. After we go to the gym, I will be listening to my audiobook, so I will definitely finish that because I'm only an hour away. The Call of the Wild is so sad. I feel so bad for this husky. And like, I haven't cried yet, but I feel like I might cry. I will maybe take some pictures to insert right after this of me working out. We'll see what I feel like when I get there. But I'll definitely update you after the gym. Okay. It's after the gym now. That's why I look tired. So, we already talked about The Other Family by Wendy Corsi Staub. Not bad. Decent suspense novel. Not really a thriller, though. Like 3.5 stars. I haven't talked to you about this because I didn't want to talk about it until I was liking it. So, I have started What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher, and I have DNF'd What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher, but for this project, I'm still counting it because it's no longer on my TBR, so it does count towards the numbers. I think this makes book 16 of the ones that I've read. Then I finished The Call of the Wild by Jack London. So I still have White Fang, which, I don't know, maybe I'll pick up. I really don't know. I'm actually super tired. I don't know if you can tell by my eyes. So I might just take a shower and go to bed. And update you in the morning. But I did finish The Call of the Wild. It was fine. I felt bad for the doggo. Like, I really felt bad for the doggo. And then, like, it was kind of boring, other than, like, the pain that the doggo was feeling. And I don't know if maybe that's what this book was supposed to be about. So I'm giving it 3 stars. It was fine. It just made me real sad. So now I kind of want to read something that's not sad. Maybe one of these 3 on the bottom. This Spells Love, Interesting Facts About Space, or Rosalie Palbert Takes the Cake. More than likely, I'm not going to start any of them tonight. Because, like, look, I'm so tired. But I'll update you in the morning. Good morning. So last night I was really tired, but I did manage to read 33 pages, of The Hacienda by Isabel Cañas. I'm not entirely sure what's going on or what I think of it. I don't really have any thoughts yet. I'm just kind of enjoying the ride, but not really enjoying the ride. I'm just kind of reading this one to see if I like it. So far, it's really boring. Nothing's happened. But it is also kind of confusing because I think there's like 2 different timelines. So there's like present day, and then there's like 1820s, 1823, and I don't really have any thoughts yet. But there's that. Then I have the audiobook for Rosalie Palmer Takes the Cake by Alexis Hall. This is a laugh out loud. I mean, it's pretty big though. It's like 400 pages. Over 400 pages for a romance. That's, I don't know, it looks pretty thick. But this is a romantic comedy about Rosalie Palmer, who is trying to make it on the Great British Bake Off, or something like the Great British Bake Off. And I think she finds love in this story too. But I do have the audiobook for this one. So while I am catching up on grading, this isn't even all of it. While I'm catching up on grading and putting it into the grade book on my laptop, so I'm going to bring my laptop out here, I'm also going to be listening to this on audiobook. So I might just have you watch, I might just do like a me and fast forward, doing grades, putting them into the computer. I am 78 pages into Rosaline Palmer Takes the Cake by Alexis Hall. And it is such a shame that this is such a beautiful cover. So week 1 was called The Cake. So now we're on The Pie. Because that's what they're doing in... You follow Rosaline Palmer, who is on, like, the Great British Cook-Off, but they can't call it that because, you know, copyright reasons. But it's a baking show in Britain. And I have learned that I love food-y books, especially, like, foodie romances. Those are just like top notch for me. I really hate Rosaline, and I don't like reading a romance book where I hate the main character. Like, I hate her so much. At the very beginning, she gets, like, there's this train situation and she gets stuck on her way to the Great British Bake Off or whatever, the baking show. She gets stuck, like, a long way from it. And she gets stuck with this guy that's also on the show, conveniently. And, like, she lied to him. She lied to him about herself. And, like, it would have been fine if she fixed it, but basically, she has a kid, and she didn't want to tell him about her kid. Instead, she pretended that she was in graduate school going to become a doctor, and that she has traveled and gone on these adventures, but she hasn't, because she got pregnant as a teenager and she had a kid instead. And by the way, her kid is adorable. I love Emily. Emily is so cute. But I don't know, I just feel weird that the way she refers to her child, she's referred to her child as a mistake, and that just some of the ways she refers to her child just don't sit well with me. And I also really I can't stand her. I think that she's a liar. I don't really like her. And I was excited for the baking aspect, but it's more so about the relationships, which makes sense because it's a romance novel. But I'm in a DNF. Rosalie Palmer Takes the Cake by Alexis Hall. I'm in a DNF. Okay, I'm in a DNF. What? I'm in a DNF it? I'm not enjoying it. I'm really, really not enjoying it. Yeah, I'm gonna DNF this. A little bit later, I will be reading more of this. I do have date night tonight, so I don't know how much of this I'm gonna get done today, but if I get a chance to read some more, I'm on chapter 5. Like I said, I'm only like 34 pages in, so I don't really understand what's going on yet, but I will be picking this up. I don't know if I'm gonna listen to an audiobook. I might just listen to some music because I really didn't like this. Maybe I'll watch some BookTube while I finish this stack of paper, and then I'm done. Well, after I put in the computer, but I might just wait till Monday to put it into the computer when I get to work, because I don't like to work on my time, because like, I don't know, I don't like to work from home anymore. I also don't like to work longer than my contract hours because I don't know, it's a thing. I could go on a whole tangent about how much work teachers do, which would be valid and true, but I could also go on a tangent about how we work from home and how we don't get paid a lot and stuff like that, which would all be true, but I'm not going to. I'm just gonna finish this stack and maybe watch some BookTube or something, because I really am hating this book, and at least I'm kind of fulfilling my bingo from hell though, because okay, here's the way I see it. We're gonna talk for another moment and then I'm gonna finish this and watch something, but here's how I see it. I see it like I'm perfectly okay DNFing books. I just feel bad because I was really excited for this one. But not the point I was trying to make. The point is, though, that I'm getting through my books that I hauled in 2024 in this video. So I don't know what my new statistic is going to look like, but I think I've read or DNF'd 16 of the 36 books, which still is not the 70% that I want, but I'm thinking that this reading vlog is gonna help because I still have the rest of Saturday if I do a new reading, all of Sunday, all of Monday, all of Tuesday, and most of what I still have 5 days left on this reading vlog, where all I'm doing is focusing on my 2024 book haul. So I don't know if we'll get it up to 70%, but if I DNF it, I'm still counting it as read because I attempted it and I didn't like it and it's no longer on my TBR. I hope that's okay with you, and even if it's not, you know, I guess that's what I'm doing. But I am in a live reading sprint. It's reading time with Rescue and Reads. I think I'm relatively new to her channel, Brittany. And so I'm actually gonna listen to my audiobook for a little bit, which is The Hacienda, and go get ready for date night. It's only 12, but I think we're gonna leave around 3 or 4. So I'll take like this hour-long sprint to get ready. That way I just feel nice. So I might take you with me to get ready. have one book update and a couple like life things to talk about real quick. So yes, I did my makeup. I'm probably gonna change my outfit later because it's date night. And see, how date night works in my house or in my marriage is that usually, like 90% of the time, my husband's like, let's do date night. And then he's like, okay, plan everything for us. Because he's not a planner. I am very much a planner. He is like road trips. He is like, let's hit the road, let's go to these places. And he kind of has a rough estimate of the route. I don't like that. So I take over. And he still drives, but I plan exactly the route that we're gonna go and exactly what like tourist attractions I'm hoping to see. I mean, I know sometimes with road trips, you get there in the middle of the night, or when you drive past something, it's pitch black dark, and if we're not ready to sleep for the night, then we just kind of drive past it and I don't get to see it. But we both have been trying to be better at planning that, but there's things like traffic and different things that come up, so you don't always do that. Date night is kind of the same. My husband's like, oh yeah, let's do a date night. And then I'm like, okay, what do you want to do? And he's like, I don't know, you figure it out. That's our relationship, and that's fine with me. So, already did my hair, my makeup. I thought about doing my nails, but let's be honest, I'm probably not going to. But I was like listening to The Hacienda by Isabel Cañas, which we'll talk about here in a moment. And while I was listening to that, I was trying to figure out what we were going to do for date night tonight. And I found this movie theater. It's called a dine-in movie theater. So you go there before the show starts and you look at the menu and you order your food, and throughout the time the waiter or the waitress is coming to give you your food, and then you can order dessert or appetizers or popcorn. Like they have popcorn. Usually when we do dinner and a movie, we do dinner and then we go get popcorn from the movie theater. So I don't know, we could do that, or maybe we'll just do appetizers and dinner, or maybe just a bunch of appetizers and popcorn. I have no idea what we're gonna do food wise, but our movie starts at 7, so I'm thinking we'll go at like it's also a half-hour drive, so I'm thinking we'll probably leave here at like 6:15, 6:20, go to this theater, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. And I already bought the tickets. I just need to bring my card and retrieve the tickets when we get there, but I'm excited for that, and then we'll do dinner there, obviously. But here is The Hacienda by Isabel Cañas. I hated this book. I hated this book so bad. There's forbidden love that I hate the love at first sight. I freaking love you. I'm just wondering if I don't like horror novels or gothic novels. I don't know. I did not like anything about this. I never connected to the main character, and like the timelines were weird. There's like 2 different timelines, but they kind of just go all over the place before they merge together, and I hated this. I'm so sorry. I really hated this book. Okay, so I am slowly reading Interesting Facts About Space by Emily Austin. And when I say slowly, I mean like snail speed slow. I'm like 14 pages in. But there's already a lot of things that have happened. So I'm liking it, actually. Only 14 pages in. Eden. I should really figure out how to say her name, but I think it's Eden. She's obsessed with true crime and apparently about space. But I just love how this book is written so far. It's like very... She talks to you and you understand her thoughts because she's telling you exactly what she's thinking. So it's kind of interesting. Think like Deadpool, but book format in the writing style. So I'm really loving the writing style. However, I am trying to take this one pretty slow. And I'm only reading this one with my eyes. So this... Hey, it's late, but I wanted to give you a quick update for this vlog. I feel like this entire vlog is kind of pointless because I accidentally bought some more books. So let's just go through them. There's House of Birds by Jane Cochran. It's a proof, so it's like before it came out. But it says, Miranda's life and career have been a roller coaster ride. Her successful rise to the top of the booming lifestyle industry as a social media influencer led to a humiliating fall after a controversial product she endorsed flopped. Desperate to get away from the hair-spilling trolls streaming her on the internet, she decides to investigate the mysterious letter she received from a young cousin in England. So, okay. Then, this one, like, I've been really wanting to read. And that is, hold on, let me fix this situation a little. Okay. Okay, let's just fix this situation. This next one is If He Had Been With Me by Laura Nolan. This one I'm really excited for. I don't really know what it is. I've just seen it on BookTube a lot. This next one doesn't count against my stats though. Mainly because it's not one that I want to sit down and read like a novel. It's just one that I got for my students so that starting next year I can do like a joke a day with them. So it's like laugh out loud jolly jokes for kids. So there's why did the Boy Scout fail his survival skills test? It was too intense. So this is not actually going to count against me because I'm taking it to school. It's not for me. Then, I've seen this on Kayla's channel a lot. This is Foul is Fair by Hannah Capin. This is also an advanced reader's edition. It's a cozy mystery, which cozy mysteries are hit or miss with me, but you know, we're gonna try it. I think there's also like food involved, and I love a good foodish book. Then I have Georgie All the Way by Kate Claiborne. This is like a love story, but more than that, it's about Georgie kind of finding herself and really just loving herself as a person before she finds love. I think it's gonna be sappy and make me cry and all that kind of crap. Then A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair. This is Hades and Persephone retelling, but make it smutty, I think. I don't know for sure. And this one doesn't count against me either because I've already read it. So I'm just adding it to my read books. So really, we only got 4 books. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I know that there's 5 right there, but you know, somehow girl math makes it only 3. But One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This one I highly recommend. It will crush your soul though, if you haven't read it yet. I was going to have this vlog go until Wednesday because that'd be like a whole week long vlog. It's Sunday. And I'm really not in the mood to read any more of my new to me books. However, I mean, yeah, since I don't want to, I'm not going to. But here's what I'm going to do. Before we sit down and have this conversation of how many books did I read in this reading vlog, including DNF'd books, how many books did I DNF, and everything like that, and all the statistics of like, my goal is to read 70% of the books that I haul in the year of 2024. So we're going to figure out what my statistics are now that I bought more books yesterday. Before we do that though, I want to read the first chapter of every book that I've hauled that I haven't read yet, because I also am going to be doing, actually I've been working on this for a while. It won't be up for several more months, but I've been reading the first chapter of every book on my most anticipated TBR, which is out in the living room. And then I come on here and I talk to you about it. It was highly inspired by Kayla from Books and Lala. She did the same thing last year. I have about 100 books out there, and basically I'm rating them on a scale of 1 to 5. If any books get a 1, then I'm going to be unhauling them. So I figured I would do the same thing with my new to me TBR. So I'm going to read the first chapter, come back, talk to you about it, and then we'll go through all the stats and we will end this video for the day, or this vlog, just because I'm really not wanting to read any of these books right now. Not that they're bad books. I'm currently in the middle of one, and like I'm going to finish that one on my own, I'm sure. Maybe, I don't know. I really want to, I don't know what I want to do. I don't want to read any of these right now, so I'm going to listen to myself and not keep doing this vlog until Wednesday. I will, however, read the first chapter of all of these books, and we'll talk about it. We are going to talk about at least the first chapter of the first 6 books that I read. So, the 5 that I bought yesterday, which we'll talk about, and the 6th one that I'm currently reading. So if that tells you anything, you know. The first book is The House of Birds by Jane Cochran. Yeah, this is a proof of the book for 1, which is cool. But for 2, the intrigue is so good. I have no idea what's going on. The first chapter was like 15 pages, 12 pages. The first chapter was 12 pages, and it basically introduces Miranda and her family, and she got out of her family's house because her dad was like, he has lots of rules, but like weird, strange rules. And I'm not sure if it was like an abusive childhood. I guess I'll read more and figure it out when I actually read this book. Oh, but the intrigue is really, really good. I am instantly liking Miranda, and I am intrigued about the letter that her mom got. It's in her mom's name. But I did sneak the first page of the next chapter too, and the letter's already been opened, but like it's addressed to her mom anyway, so I don't know what the letter is about, but they're basically having this party to celebrate Miranda and her trying a new career, which she kind of is like, it's not the first time we've done this. We've been down this rabbit hole before. So I think that was very telling of her, and I kind of like, currently I'm a teacher and I don't see myself ever leaving the education realm, but I haven't always been a teacher. I was in the food business. I was in customer service. I was a certified nursing assistant. I have done a lot of different jobs. And I feel her because she's just like, yeah, it never works out for me. And like, I don't feel that way anymore, but there was a time not that long ago that I wondered about myself. But I'm very intrigued by this. I would give the opening chapter like a 4-star, but it's definitely one that I want to come back to. I'm very excited for it. Then I never thought I would read Georgie All the Way. Georgie All Along by Kate Clayborn. Clearly you follow Georgie, who I think she's having a tough time in life. Like, I'm not sure if she was fired or she quit her job. But she's been having a rough time, a rough go of it. And her best friend from childhood is pregnant, and she like just moved into this new house, and she invited Georgie to come back to their hometown and help her out for a little bit. But when she gets there, she realizes that her best friend doesn't really need help, and that maybe it was just Emily. Is her name Emily? I don't remember her best friend's name. I'm not entirely sure what her best friend's name was, but her best friend is kind of more trying to help her because she knows that Georgie's having a rough time. And I think that it's going to be like, yeah, she's 26 or 20. I think she's 28. But I know that she's 28, but I think it's going to be like a coming of age novel, you know, and like growing up. And I think that Georgie finds an old diary that she used to write in, and she starts reading it. And I don't know, I'm excited for this one too. I would probably give this one like a 3-star. It was a little slower, which might not mean anything. But I did really enjoy it, so I actually read to chapter 4 instead of just the first chapter, which is like 37 pages into this book. So I really am enjoying this one. I might read it soon anyways. But I liked both of them. So I'm intrigued to learn more about Georgie and just learn about her life. This next one is one from yesterday. This one is Foul is Fair by Hannah Kappen. I wish I would have See, I wish that I would have read the back. I just knew that I'm pretty sure Kayla from Books and Lala read this, and I think that she liked it, but I can't remember. I just know I've seen it on BookTube. And see, here's the thing. It's a retelling of Macbeth by William Shakespeare, which I've never read. It's also a revenge tale about this girl that is assaulted, and then she gets revenge on the people that assault her. And that aspect sounds really good. Not gonna lie to you. But there's also, witches and, it seems very, coven-y, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the writing, the vibes of this writing, I think I'm gonna unhaul this one. Yeah, I think I'm gonna put this one on Pango. I know, I just got it. Don't tell my husband. The next one that we just got yesterday was way outside of my comfort zone. This is A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair. Hades and Persephone retelling. Okay. This is a smutty mythology retelling. I don't think I'm gonna like this. So I think I'm gonna unhaul this one too. I think I'm gonna put it up on Pango Books. It's a romantasy, and I'm not a fantasy girly. I'm really just not liking that it's a god and a goddess, although she's more like mortal goddess, which is weird. And then, I don't know, there's a lot happening in this book, and I respect that. I like that it's not just... I don't like reading just erotica. I don't like just smut with no plot. This has a plot. There hasn't been any smut yet because, first chapter. But I've actually read the first 6 chapters, I think. Let me see. Okay, so the first 80 pages. And it's a good setup, and I can respect that it's a good setup. Because Persephone goes to Hades' nightclub, and basically if you go to the nightclub, you're basically signing your soul away if he wants you to, and then there's some kind of contract that comes into play later, and I'm pretty sure that Hades wants Persephone to come back so that they can, hang out. And it's fine. I can respect that a lot of people love this book. I just knew going into it that it was a little outside of my comfort zone, and I don't think that I'm going to keep this one either. I think that one's got to be unhauled. It's not for me. It's definitely me, not the book, and I can respect that a lot of people love this book. I just am not the people for this book. The next one is Interesting Facts About Space by Emily Austin. I'm 3 chapters into this one. It's 35 pages. 46 pages. I will be reading this very, very soon. I don't know. I might even read this after this vlog is over. But I'm taking my time with it. I've only been reading 20 pages a day, which is not a lot for me. But I'm loving this. It's so good. So you follow Eden. And at the beginning, she's at the grocery store just doing mundane things like grocery shopping. And she's listening to a podcast about true murder. And she's deaf in one ear, which is weird. And she's also completely obsessed with space. And you're just kind of getting to know her. She bought groceries and then she went home. And I'm pretty sure that she has a roommate. Or no, she screams mom. So I don't know a whole lot. I just know that the writing style is really interesting. And it feels like Eden is kind of talking to you as the reader. Think like Deadpool, but book format and not superheroes, clearly. But I'm excited and intrigued to figure out more about this one. I'm still very confused. I mean, I'm not confused. It's just we're following Eden and she's talking about true crime. She's listening to a true crime podcast and telling us what's going on there, but also telling us what's going on in real life as she's grocery shopping. That might sound really mundane to a lot of people, but to me, I'm loving this. The writing style, writing style is so good. So maybe a 5-star. 5-star. And then I read the first chapter of If He Had Been With Me by Laura Nolan. Oh my gosh. I was not expecting this, but basically at the very beginning of this book, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm crying. At the very beginning of this book, I don't even think she told us her name. I think her name's Autumn, based on the back, but I don't think she told us. No. The first chapter was like 3 pages. Oh, I wasn't with Finny on that autumn night. Okay, so Finny and this girl were in a car crash, and I'm pretty sure the girl in the car with him died. Well, she was thrown from the car because I'm pretty sure she wasn't wearing a seatbelt, but Finny was. And then this is like Autumn, who is Finny's best friend, telling us the story. So I don't know what's going to happen. Like literally 3 pages. And hook, line, and sinker. Loved it. Just cannot wait to get into this. I just need a little bit of a break before I read more, but 5 stars. 5 stars for 3 pages. So good. Okay. I'm gonna go read the first chapter of a few more, maybe 5 more. We'll see. And we'll talk about it. I am really scared for that pile though, because there's a lot of classics in there. What was I thinking? It has not been that long. I read a few pages of The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. I'm not a classics girly. Not a lot. Okay, here's the thing. I don't reach for classics, but I tend to either really, really love them or really, really hate them. There's no in between with me. I did not finish the first chapter, and I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm actually going to ignore all of the classics that I have not read yet that are in this pile. I'm just going to ignore them, and then I'm going to add them to my classic shelf, and eventually I'll read them. I'm not going to give them an entry grading in this video. This was like really, really old English, and my brain just can't with it right now. So let me grab the other classics that I'm looking at, and we'll talk about it. Okay, so I got all of the classics together, and it turns out that I had already read the first chapter of 2 of the classics, and then the rest I just kind of briefly read the first few pages to kind of see the tone and see if I could determine what these books are about. But I'm going to start with the 2 that I've actually finished the first chapter of, and we'll talk about it. So there's Jaws by Peter Benchley. I thought I would hate this book. Like, I had zero hope for this book. I liked the first chapter so much that I read all the way through to chapter 4, which I think is like 40-ish pages in. I don't know. But it's so addictive. The writing in here is so good. And, like, you're following you're following from the shark's perspective, but not the shark's perspective. You're following from a narrator's perspective, but he's telling me about the shark that is swimming in the ocean, circling this woman that is swimming. And I'm pretty sure he's going to attack her. And you know what? It's actually really good. Like, let me tell you the first sentence. I also have never watched the iconic movie Jaws. So when I get to reading Jaws, I am going to try to force my husband to have a movie night and watch Jaws with me. I've never really been interested, but this book is really good. The writing's so good. So, it says, the great fish moves silently through the night water, propelled by short sweeps of its crescent tail. Like, come on. That brings you right there. That's so good. Then I read the first chapter of The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. Sorry. Then I also read the first chapter of The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson, which was only a few pages and was very briefly introducing the house and some of the characters that are going to be in here. I feel like this one's going to be really boring to me. But I'm still going to keep it because it's a classic and I'm trying really hard not to judge classics before I actually give them a shot. These ones I did not finish the first chapter of, but I can briefly tell you what I think they're about. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest by Ken Kesey is probably my favorite classic, like, that I've read of it so far. It's like a psychiatric hospital, and I think the guy says that he's a sociopath or something. Sounds really good. Slaughterhouse-Five, War? Catch-22, War? The Picture of Dorian Gray. There's a lot to the story. It's a revenge tale. I didn't like the first chapter. It was like very heavy Old English. Alright, welcome back to this reading vlog. I had intended to finish the first chapter of every book that I was talking about earlier, which is a total of 10 books, but I got occupied with life. So I will tell you about the 3 that I did read. Even if I'm not 100% sold on them, I will not be unhauling any of these ones. So we have Daphne by Josh Malerman, which I just hit myself in the face with, so you're welcome. It was all for your enjoyment.
But I read the first chapter and it was like a girls' basketball game in high school, and they had a slumber party the night before, and there's like this ghost story or this legend of Daphne, who is kind of like Bloody Mary. You go into the bathroom, turn off the lights and go Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, and then she pops up behind you and kills you. Same kind of idea with Daphne. It was a nice setup. I would probably give it a 3 to start with, but that's not terrible. Then I have If You See Her by Anya Allborn. I would definitely unhaul this without reading it if it wasn't for that challenge of me reading the 102 books that I need to read before I get murdered from that recommendations book. Anya Allborn is one of the authors in there, and there's like 12 books by her that you're supposed to read. So I will be reading it. It's like a haunted house story, but you follow a bunch of teenagers who are acting dumb as teenagers do, and it's very, very immature so far. So I'm not excited for this one. And then Ring Shout by this author that I can't pronounce, so sorry. It starts off how I thought it would. It's like historical fiction, but horror, and like the KKK are actual monsters, and I think the KKK were in a parade, but they're monsters, so it was weird. I'm not enjoying this book, but they really just have to show off. But one thing about horror that I'm realizing, because I haven't really read a whole lot, so this year is kind of me exploring that genre a little bit, trying to see if there's any kind of horror novels that I like. But something about them is that many horror novels make you uncomfortable. Many horror novels disgust you, and that's kind of the whole point of the genre, I feel like. So I'm wondering, maybe I'm just not a horror novel girly, but I'm still dedicated to attempting the 102 books that I promised, even if I'm not 100% sold on this challenge anymore, because I've read a few horror novels lately and they're just gross, and I get grossed out really easily. And I'm learning that maybe that's not a good combo. But those were the only 3 that I read. I think I have like 7 more that I'm supposed to read the first chapter of, but that is not happening tonight. It'll happen like that for you, but in reality, I have no idea how long it's gonna take me before I get to doing that, because I'm busy. Okay, so it's a couple days later, and I finally finished the last stack of the first chapter. So there were some surprising results. The first one is The Hidden by Melanie Golding. I thought that this would be like a really intriguing thriller, because there's this toddler that gets out and runs away, and then the police find her and basically reunite her with her mom, because they just thought, it's just a toddler running away and that it's not a big deal. Well, it was a big deal, and now there's like she's not a witch, but it's like mythology related, And there's also a detective's perspective later in the book, I think, but it's like weird. So I'm gonna be unhauling this one. So it's gonna be added to my finished books because I'm no longer interested in them. Then we have The Life She Had by K.L. Armstrong. So the first chapter I feel like was fairly short. So it was like 8 pages. And Celeste is home alone. And she... Well, I mean, she goes on a jog, but then she's home alone and she starts hearing things. And, like, it was an okay first chapter. I am intrigued to read more, so I guess 3 stars. And, yeah, it'll be on my TBR. Okay, this one. The first chapter was 13 pages. And I cried by page 11. Right? That is The Last Post by Renee Carlino. I read Before We Were Strangers by Renee Carlino and thought it was fine. I think I gave it like 3 stars. It was good. It just didn't live up to the hype that I had been hearing about it. But this one, I was already crying. So you follow Leia and Cameron. Cameron is Leia's husband, and Cameron is like a daredevil. He's kind of a stunt person. That's how he makes money. And she is very much like, no, let's not do anything scary. And he goes on a trip and does a stunt that causes him to die. And that was the first chapter. He died. Well, like, you get to know them as a couple and you see how opposite they are. And then he dies. Like, what the heck is that? I'm sure it's gonna be like a really impactful book. And it's gonna hurt like heck. I mean, I already cried. So if I already cried within the first like 12 pages, then clearly I'm gonna love this book. So 5 star. 5 star beginning. Okay, this next one hurts a little bit. A lot of it, maybe. I love this author, but I didn't like the beginning of this book, which doesn't really mean anything. It's just that it's in England in 1919, and, it's Silence for the Dead by Simone St. James, and I think there's like ghosts, and usually I'm not a ghost person anyway, but with Simone St. James, like, there are no rules. So I didn't love the beginning. I'm gonna give it like a 2 star beginning, and I think that's being generous. I honestly am not interested in this book at all right now. After reading the first chapter, I would unhaul it, but it's Simone St. James, so yeah, but I didn't love her other one. You know what? A Shocking Twist of Events. I'm gonna be unhauling. No, I'm not. I'm gonna save this one even though I didn't love it. Okay, another one that made me cry instantly, like just drew me in, and broke my heart in chapter 1 was The Dream Daughter by Diane Chamberlain. And in the first chapter, you follow Carly, who is pregnant. And then she's not pregnant anymore because she lost her baby. It hasn't moved in a few days. She hasn't moved in a few days. And she hasn't kicked or anything. And Carly goes to the doctor for her appointment, and she miscarried. But she miscarried. I don't think we find out why in chapter 1, but I'm pretty sure it's some kind of medical condition that can't be fixed in the 70s when this took place. But it can be fixed in the future. Okay, in the 60s when this took place. But it can be fixed in the future. So then I think there's like time travel, and she tries to save this daughter that like basically died inside of her already. And I don't know. This is gonna be an emotional roller coaster, and I'm already crying. So 5 out of 5 stars. Then The Fixer Upper by Lauren Forsyth. This was really funny. Like, I saw myself laughing out loud because you follow Allie, who is going to dinner by herself when she runs into her ex-boyfriend and his wife. And they get to talking, and he basically is like, oh, you're the one that changed my life. You were always poking fun at me for living with my parents and for saying that I'm not gonna amount to anything if I don't get my butt in gear. Well, I got my butt in gear, and I'm not exactly sure what's gonna happen from here, but I'm excited to see. So I'd probably give that one like a 3.5 or a 4-star beginning. This next one is probably gonna hurt some people. So if you're easily offended, bye. If you're easily offended, bye. But I mean, you've come this far in this video. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. So I think what happened was I fell into the hype and I bought 7 Days in June by Tia Williams. I don't care about this book. I didn't realize it follows 2 writers. I didn't realize it follows a single mom. I kind of knew it was a second chance romance, which isn't always my favorite. This is the part that if you're easily offended, plug your ears or turn off the TV. I'm unhauling it. I didn't like it. I think I just fell into the hype. So this brings us to the last book on my TBR. So just so you know, any of the books that I like am unhauling, especially the ones that I didn't finish, they will be unhauled on Pango. But this last one is This Spells Love by Kate Robb. And this one was interesting. This one was kind of funny, kind of interesting. So Hema has been dumped by her boyfriend, I think her long-term boyfriend, and she goes out to party with her best friend and her aunts, I believe. And she, they get drunk, and then she does this like hex on him essentially, and yeah, I think it's just gonna be real funny. It did feel really, it was just like a feel good kind of, you know, we've all been there type of book so far. So I am giving this 4 stars to begin with. So now I'm going to collect all my new to me books, and I will tell you if I've read it, if I'm just unhauling it straight away, or if it's still on my TBR, or if I've read it and I'm unhauling it. Because those are pretty much the only options. And we'll just like wrap up this video. I'm getting pretty tired, clearly, so welcome to the end of this reading vlog, where we talk all the stats and I show you all my, like, my entire book haul. But I also talk about which ones I've read, which ones I haven't read, which ones I DNF'd, which ones I will be keeping, which ones I will not be keeping. Whatever I'm not keeping will go up on Panko Books. So, I'm surrounded by books right now. I guess let's just start right here and then go over to the side. This first one is If You See Her by Anya Allborn. I read the first chapter. I didn't like the first chapter, but because I'm doing that reading blog challenge thing where I read a bunch of horror novels, I have to keep this one, even if I wouldn't. Then I have Daphne by Josh Malerman. I read the first chapter of this one, and this one was actually pretty intriguing, so I haven't read it yet. Meddlin' Kids by Edgar Cantierno. I'm excited for this one. It's gonna be like a campy Scooby-Doo-esque mystery. This Spells Love by Kate Robb is another one I'm excited for. The Fixer Upper by Lauren Forsyth is yet another one that I'm excited for. The Dream Daughter by Diane Chamberlain is one that already is making me feel things, but I've only read the first chapter, so it's still on my TBR. You know what? I don't think that I like gothic style books. I'm gonna be unhauling this one. Just like spur of the moment. I've been on the fence about it, but I haven't read it. I was not interested in the first chapter. It's very like historical fiction, which is not my jam. So I have one that I'm gonna be unhauling, but I am gonna count it towards the books in the ones that I've read because I'm no longer interested in it, and I think that was kind of the whole point for me personally. So then the next one is The Last Post by Renee Carlino. This one made me sob. Okay, this one made me cry, and I'm only 11 pages in, so have to keep that one. Very excited for it. Then we have The Life She Had by K.L. Armstrong. This one's a little bit slower of a thriller, but you're just kind of following this woman named Celeste who's alone right now. But I'm sure that that'll change. So that one will be there on my TBR. Okay. This next, like, fairly large stack are books that I have read. So I'm going to put it with this one because that one's no longer on my TBR. I think that's only fair. So there's The Long Game by Elena Armas. I did read this. So I guess I've read all of these or DNF'd them. I'll tell you if I read it or DNF'd it. Yeah. I read The Hacienda by Isabel
Kanyas. I am also going to be, I'm also going to be putting this one on Pango. I didn't like it. Then Rosalie Palmer Takes the Cake by Alexis Hall. I DNF'd this one quite fast, actually, but it's no longer on my TBR, so. Then I read The Call of the Wild by Jack London. I still have to read White Fang by Jack London, but I have not yet. I DNF'd What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher because no. I read The Other Family by Wendy Corsi Staub, and I really enjoyed this one. Then Only If You're Lucky by Stacey Willingham. I did read this. I read this one quite fast, too. I enjoyed it. It's not my favorite by this author, but I did enjoy it. Speaking of favorites, though, I read The Ballad of Black Tom by Victor Lavelle. And it was like a new favorite fantasy. I guess I'm just going through all the books that I've hauled. No. Okay, so The Ballad of Black Tom was like a horror fantasy, but it was... I didn't love this book. Like, I didn't love what happened in this book, but it did speak about racism, and it did speak volumes about some things that were going on in the world / are going on in the world. So I liked it for the overall message, but I didn't like love this book. I think I said 5 stars, but I think it's only 4. I DNF The Edge of Sleep. No. Just no. I read Unqualified by Anna Faris. I might actually be unhauling that one too. I DNF The Ancestor. I read Mallory. I read The Safest Lies, which I'm also going to be unhauling. Just Like Home by Sarah Gailey, and The Book of Accidents by Chuck Wendig. I've read or DNF'd both of these this year. I'm probably going to be putting both on Pango as well. And then we have a stack right here. 7 Days in June by Tia Williams. I know people are going to be mad, but I'm going to be unhauling this one. It'll be up on Pango. The Hidden by Megan Golding will also be up on Pango. First Light Wins by Ashley Elston. I read A Spot of Trouble by Terry Wilson. I also read. And Privacy by Nina Sadowski. I had. Then these are books that I've started the first chapter but have not finished them. So there's Ring Shout, there's Jaws, If He Had Been With Me, Interesting Facts About Space, and The House of Cards. I might need to go get my phone. I'm gonna go grab my phone. Okay, so we are gonna find my percentage at the end of this video. I think in the first, like in my actual book haul, it was like 33%, I think. So I'm gonna count how many I've read versus how many I've bought all together. We'll do some math. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So I've read 20, and I bought 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33.
So 20 divided by 33 times 100. Oh my gosh. I'm at 60.6%. So that means I'm getting so close to the 70% that I wanted. I'm also going to quickly go through this stack and maybe I'll go get more. Are there more books that I want to unhaul? No. Oh, no, because those ones are already unhauled. I might do a quick little look through of my shelves and see if there's any that I need to unhaul, but then I'll get back with you and tell you all the ones that I'm going to be unhauling out of the stack because it's a lot. And then we'll probably end this vlog, so. Okay, most of the books on my shelf I'm really excited about. But I did manage to find 4 that I'm going to add. So I'm going to quickly go through these 4. I'm not really going to tell you a whole lot about them. They're just going to be up for sale on Pango Books. So I'll link my Pango down below in case you want to go check them out. These first 3 I'm only getting rid of because they're a young adult and I just don't do well with young adult anymore. I don't enjoy them. So, I Was Here by Gail Forman, Backlash by Sarah Dara Littman, and I have this on audio or Kindle. It's available on one of the subscriptions that I have, if I ever want to, but I don't think I will. Every Last Word by Tamara Ireland Stone. This last one, was going to be one that I read in the Reading Haunted House books. I've DNF'd this before, and then I did try to read it when I was reading the first chapter of these. I wanted to read the first chapter of this. I don't think I like haunted house books, and that's okay. And that is, so I'm gonna unhaul Kill Creek by Scott Thomas. I'm gonna unhaul Privacy by Nina Sadowski. I'm not gonna unhaul A Spot of Trouble yet, but eventually I might. I will be unhauling The Hidden by Melanie Golding and 70s in June by Tia Williams. I'm also going to be unhauling the Book of Accidents by Chuck Wendig and Just Like Home by Sarah Gailey, along with The Safest Lies by Megan Miranda and The Ancestor by Danielle Truzany. I also think that I'm going to unhaul Unqualified by Anna Faris and The Edge of Sleep. I'm also going to be unhauling What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher and Rosalie Palmer Takes the Cake by Alexis Hall. I'm also going to sell Silence for the Dead by Simone St. James and The Hacienda by Isabel Cañas. So I know this is kind of like a little bit of different things. There was like an unhaul. It was kind of testing my bookish, testing the things that I like in the books that I read. It was a vlog. It was try a chapter. I know it's kind of like messy and chaotic, but I mean, that's my life. So I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to my channel if you're new around here, and I will catch you in the next video. I'm also going to link Pango down below, so if you are interested in any of these books, go check out my Pango store and see if you want any of them. Peace!